Welcome back, everyone. Looking forward to continuing our journey to develop our presence. And today we're going to talk about expressiveness, that bringing it to life, if you will. So, Andre, can you talk to us about how to bring what it is that we're communicating and what it is that we're doing in our relationship to life?
Yeah, thanks, Darren. And, just for context, this is the E in the model, which is the third element of that deconstructed model of elevating your presence, and it is expressiveness. So we talk about this again as an ability to express feelings and emotions appropriately by using all of the available means we have to us: words, voice, face, body, to deliver a congruent message. And often, Darren, and I'm sure you see it as well in the people you coach. People often ask me to have a look at a presentation that they did at an industry conference, for example, and give them some feedback and how they express themselves. And I want to talk a little bit about this notion of being congruent with everything that happens. So often we'll see town hall meetings or presentations that they've had where the person gets up in the front of the stage and picks out their script and says, thank you to the person who introduced them, something like, thank you, Frank. I'm very excited being here today. Something like that. The incongruence between the words thanking Frank, it's not like, thank you, Frank. What a great introduction. They're making me feel fantastic, right? That's congruent, not thank you, Frank. Or when they say, I'm really thrilled to be here today. You're not reading it from a script. You're connecting and looking at individuals in the front row and the back row and saying, I am thrilled. This is going to be the highlight of my day, or something like that. You've got to be congruent, because if you lose that congruence at the start, your credibility is shot. Why am I going to believe anything else you say when your opening phrases or the opening things that you say don't add up? You're not using all of your channels. The words are there, of course, but what about your voice? Where's the variation in showing me excitement or thanking someone?
Yes.
Your face, your body, right? So this notion of congruence becomes really important when you're speaking, and this notion of expressiveness. And it takes me back to probably one of my favorite stories. I was too young at the time, and way before you were born, Darren, to remember it, but it was the US presidential debate between John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon. This was I think it was in 1960. So the interesting thing about this was that television was quite a new thing in the US at that stage. And this was the first time a debate was going to be televised. So interestingly enough, radios were still a way for people to listen and receive information. So when the debate actually happened between Nixon and Kennedy, half of the people listened to it, just the words coming through and the voice, and another half got all of that plus the visuals. Now, what happened coming up to the debate with Nixon was that he had some knee surgery some weeks beforehand and it got infected. When he got to the studio for the debate, getting out of the car, he knocked his knee and he was in amazing pain and agony. And as the debate was going on, you literally could see the pain and agony, and he was starting to sweat, and he was to take out his handkerchief to wipe his brow, wipe his face, because he was in this agony. It came across on TV, did not come across on the radio. When they did the exit polls and they said, well, who won the debate? The interesting thing happened here. People who listened to the debate on the radio clearly said Nixon won. People who watched the debate on TV said Kennedy won. How could this be? Same messages, one just had visuals, one didn't, which got the interest of a guy called Albert Mehrabian, and studied this for a long time. And he found out that when we communicate with people, and we're talking communications which has an emotional tinge to it, not just delivering information. When you're expressing yourself, only 7% of what is received by the other person is the words themselves. 38% is the voice, and 55% of what they're receiving is based on your facial expressions, gestures, body language, posture, so to speak. And it became known as the Moravian rule, which to this day, people continue to teach it. But here's the interesting thing. When we're looking at expressing ourselves, how much attention do we pay to the voice and the nonverbals? Very little. I can't tell you, and I'm working with clients at the moment, that they agonize over the deck. Let's change this. Let's do this. Let's fix the deck. And they spend 99% or 95% of their effort on designing the words and 5% or less trying to predict the voice they're going to be using or practice the nonverbals that they're going to be using. So expressiveness is about congruence, where words and your voice and your nonverbals are absolutely in line with each other. It is about coming across as being truly authentic. What do you think, Darren?
It's outstanding, and I think it's fantastic, and I love that. Great to be reminded of the 73855, and it's just such an important framework to come from, and that to me is where that physiology comes in, the body language, which is basically how do you feel, right? What's in your body? That's what shows up. And so I think that that's such an important model, is that we get so obsessed with the words. We'll take the words and internalize the message, and then, okay, you can then put some focus on the tone and the way that you're going to deliver it, so it can really have some impact, as opposed to reading the script and or thinking about what you're going to say next.
Fantastic. Thank you, Darren. So the next episode, the fourth part of our deconstruction of presence, is on the self-knowing. So tune in for our next episode. Thank you, everyone.
Fantastic. Looking forward to it.